Dear grade 12 students, welcome to today's English lesson. This is Writing 8A Part 1. Please make sure to have your students' books opened on page 117 while you watch the video. There are two objectives to consider for today's lesson. You're expected to be able to recognize the structure of an email of complaint, and you're expected to be able to identify the appropriate style for writing an email of complaint. Well, now I want you to tell me what you can see in this picture. Okay, there is an iPad, a mobile phone, a couple of credit cards, a padlock, a shopping cart, and a number of boxes. So, are these items related in any way? Wonderful. When we are shopping online, we use all of these items. But we don't really have a shopping cart. It's kind of an online cart. And the padlock stands for your password. And you need to have a device to take a look at the products you're thinking of buying. Well, now I want you to think about this question. Have you ever bought anything online only to find that there was some kind of problem with it when it arrived? What did you do? Pause the video and answer. Well, I once bought a jacket online, but they sent me the wrong size. What did I do? I wrote an email asking them what the process for returning the jacket was and asked them to send me a new jacket in the correct size. Now, I want you to tell me about your experience with online shopping. Now, make sure to open your books on page 117. This is exercise B. You're supposed to read the advertisement and the email of complaint. So what is an advertisement? An advertisement is written to tell you about a certain product and is written to persuade you by this product. The advertisement is on the left. On the right, we have an email of complaint. So someone bought those speakers, those headphones, and now they are complaining about it. You're supposed to answer the questions that follow, and the questions are about the email. Well, the first question goes like, is the style of writing formal or informal? Pause the video and answer the question. Well, the email is a formal one, but can you tell me why? Well, there is a formal greeting, dear sir or madam. Formal salutation, yours faithfully. We have no contractions, so the writer of the email writes I am, not I'm. They would not, they wouldn't. I could not, I couldn't. So if you write I couldn't, this is informal, but we're doing a formal email, so you shouldn't be using any contractions. And finally, the use of advanced vocabulary is a feature of writing formally. So we have thank you in advance for your cooperation. If we have something like thanks for your help, this is informal, but again, we're going for a formal piece of writing, and it is an email of complaint. We are still working on exercise B. This is question 2. What information is included in each paragraph? Write your answers in the boxes next to each paragraph. Well, how many paragraphs are there? There are 3 paragraphs in this email of complaint. Now, I want you to tell me what kind of information is there in each of the paragraphs. Pause the video and answer. Well, in the first paragraph we have, I'm writing to complain. So, what is the function of the first paragraph? What kind of information is included in the first paragraph? Well, we have the reason for writing in the first paragraph. Moving on to the second paragraph, we have firstly, to make matters worse. Thirdly, lastly. What do you think we have in this paragraph? Wonderful. We have the problems outlined, so we have details about the complaint. And finally, for the third paragraph, we have I would like to receive a replacement set of headphones. I expect you to refund me the 10% discount I am entitled to. So, what kind of information is included in the third paragraph? Super. We have the actions to be taken. We have the demands of the writer, the person who is complaining. We are still working on exercise B. This is question 3. What kind of language and tone is used to complain? What is tone? Tone is the way the writer expresses his feelings and his thoughts. Well, remember, he's complaining. Pause the video and think about the question. Well, the tone is polite but clear and firm. So the writer is not impolite. He is polite, although he is complaining. The language is in the first person, so I received the wrong item. He didn't use second person. You sent me the wrong item. So when you're writing an email of complaint, you should stick to using first person and don't use second person. Moving on to exercise C, below are expressions commonly used in letters, emails of complaint. So, as you remember, there are 3 paragraphs in an email of complaint. Here are some expressions to use in the first paragraph, some other expressions to use in the second paragraph, and finally more expressions to use in the third paragraph. You're supposed to fill in those gaps with words and phrases from the email we went through earlier. Well, let's consider paragraph 1 first. So, this is paragraph 1 from the model that we dealt with earlier in this class. And these are the expressions and sentences you can use in the first paragraph when you're writing your email or letter of complaint. So, I want you to pause the video and think of the word that best fits the gap here. Well, what do you think? The word is, I'm writing to, yes, I'm writing to complain. You can say it another way. I'm writing to make a complaint about. I'm writing to express my strong dissatisfaction with. I'm writing to tell you about how upset, how disappointed I am or I was with. So, paragraph 1, you're supposed to write the reason for writing your email or letter. And in this case, you need to show that you're writing to complain. Moving on to the useful expressions and phrases you can use when writing your main part of your email of complaint. So these are taken from exercise C. And again, you can use these in the second paragraph, the main part. And this is the second paragraph from the model we discussed earlier. You're supposed to fill in the gaps with suitable words from the second paragraph of the model. Pause the video and answer. Well, some of the expressions, phrases, sentences you can use when writing the main part include I was disappointed, I was frustrated, I was shocked, and I was surprised to find that, and so on. To my surprise, to my disappointment, the product or the service, and you're to describe the problem. The advertisement stated that, but in reality, so you're to compare between what was there in the advertisement and what you found to be real. I have enclosed or I have attached a copy, a photo of, and you explain the problem. One thing you need to take notice of is the use of linkers in the second paragraph, in the main part. So you should be using linkers like firstly, to make matters worse, thirdly, lastly, and these are used to list the problems in your email or letter of complaint. Other linkers like consequently can be used to show relation between two sentences. So consequently is used to show result. So there is a reason, and after that there is the result. So put in mind using linkers to list and other linkers to show relation between the sentences in your writing. Moving on to the last set of useful expressions and phrases to be used in your emails of complaint. These phrases and expressions can be used in the third paragraph in the conclusion. And if you remember, this is the last part from the model we went through earlier. You're supposed to fill in these gaps using suitable words from the model. Pause the video to answer. Before we answer and fill in the gaps, I want you to tell me what should be included in the last part of an email of complaint. Wonderful. You should include your demands, the actions you want to be taken. Okay, let's see some of those useful expressions. At the very least, I believe you should. I believe I am entitled to a partial or to a full refund. So by that, we mean you want your money back. I would be thankful, I would be grateful if you would. I hope you will deal with, I hope you will resolve this matter immediately. Considering, yes, considering the above, I'd like to receive a, yes, I'd like to receive a replacement. If you do not, unless I hear from you, I'm afraid I'll be forced to take this matter further. I would appreciate an immediate response. Thank you. Okay. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. So these are used in your conclusion, again, when you're writing an email or a letter of complaint. Now, let's remember some of the most important points we dealt with in today's lesson. What type of writing is today's lesson about? Do you remember? Wonderful. It's about a letter or an email of complaint. What do people usually complain about? People usually complain about a service or a product. How many paragraphs should be there in an email of complaint? There should be 3 paragraphs, an introduction, the main part, and a conclusion. Reason for writing is to be mentioned in the introduction. In the main part, you're to include the problems with the product or with the service. In the conclusion, you're to include your demands. You're to include the action to be taken. What style is used when writing an email of complaint? We should use formal style, formal greeting, formal salutation, and we shouldn't be using contractions. These are some of the main features of writing formally. This is the end of today's lesson. Thanks for watching, and remember, this video will always be available on Microsoft Teams for you to watch at any time.